that was moved by the chair of the privatization. Point being KenGen, KPLC, KCB, Safaricom, we have enhanced corporate governance in state corporations by privatizing them through initial public offerings. Because unlike situations where you bring in strategic investors, initial public offerings offers everybody an opportunity to be able to invest in these companies, and therefore in a big way enhances corporate governance in the management of those companies. And as the chair said, and as you note from the report that was tabled before, probably it is high time I invited all of you and Kenyans to start saving in preparation of buying shares in this company. And I can tell you, as an investor in the stock exchange market, this will be and is a very good buy. If you look at our economy, Honorable Speaker, a lot of macro and fiscal changes have been undertaken in the last 3 or 4 years, and we have started reaping the benefits of some of these macro and fiscal interventions that have been done. And, Honorable Speaker, you look at inflation, you look at our exchange rate, things are stabilizing. If you went through, for those who cared to read the public participation report of the finance bill this year, 2025-2026, one of the critical things that Kenyans spoke to very loudly, and something that we have always said here, as members of parliament and those who appear on TV stations as they articulate their issues, is that government must introduce new innovative ways of funding both the provision of infrastructure and service delivery to Kenyans. And largely over the years, Honorable Speaker, we have depended largely on taxes that we raise, and Kenyans, during the public participation of the finance bill, loudly told us, and it is there in the report that was tabled before this house by the finance committee, that we must innovate new ways of financing our infrastructure and service delivery by government. And top among those innovative ways is to release part of the shareholding in some of these profitable and strategic investments that government has held shares over the years. And this is exactly what the National Treasury has proposed to do. And when the committee considered this report, Honorable Speaker, I know there were many concerns that Kenyans had raised. And many of those concerns, if you look at the report that the committee tabled, they have since addressed all those concerns, Honorable Speaker. And if you look at the recommendations of the committee, they have said that they are asking us to approve the privatization of 65% of Kenya Pipeline through an IPO, and to implement an employee share ownership plan. Because part of the concerns were by employees of Kenya Pipeline. Will they now lose value even as employees? Are there people who will lose jobs? And we are telling the Kenya Pipeline employees, many years ago when KenGen was privatized, or KCB, or Safaricom, the Safaricom of before privatization was a very small company, employing very few people. The Safaricom of today, having gone through privatization, is a behemoth of an organization that is serving not just Kenyans, but also Africans in this region and many people around the world. Safaricom through M-Pesa has become a hallmark around the world, and many countries are having to copy the innovations and technology that has come from Safaricom. And this is what comes with enhanced corporate governance when you privatize an institution like we are proposing. And therefore, the share ownership plan that the committee, which I support, Honorable Speaker, will ensure that employees of Kenya Pipeline not only maintain their jobs, but Kenya Pipeline, through enhanced corporate governance, will be able to grow into a company that even employs more Kenyans. And Kenyans all over are looking for jobs, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, the right thing we can do for this country is to allow the National Treasury to privatize this company, enhance corporate governance, create more wealth out of this company, and be able to employ more Kenyans. They have also said that we must ensure very transparent valuation of the company, and I fully concur and agree. And indeed, without preempting debate, Honorable Speaker, under order number 12 or 13, Honorable Speaker, there is a privatization bill that is also lined up for debate by this House. And if you go through that privatization bill, the issue of valuation of companies that are listed for privatization, either by whichever mode, whether it is IPO, whether it is bringing in strategic investors, the question of valuation is a key consideration, and therefore even this will be no exception, and it will be done that way. Honorable Speaker, there is a very strong and a very deep intrinsic link between the growth of an economy and the growth of the equity markets or the capital markets. And our capital markets today, Honorable Speaker, are doing exceptionally well. The Nairobi Stock Exchange is doing exceptionally well, and therefore the economy as it grows must grow in tandem with the way the capital markets capital markets are performing. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, because I see my time is over, I just want to implore the members, let us support this proposal, because it is good for this country. It is us who will benefit more than anybody else from this IPO, because it seeks to raise about 100 billion shillings that I see the committee is proposing that the proceeds primarily should go to settle domestic arrears. These domestic arrears relate to contracts that have been awarded in our constituencies for roads, relate to contracts that we are awarding under our NGCDF and GAF contracts, and therefore this money will come to benefit not just our economy, but also our constituents, Honorable Speaker, even as we grow our economy, as the capital markets grow, Honorable Speaker. And there is no better time. There is no better time to invest in the capital markets than now. Listen to me. There is no better time to invest in the capital markets than now. If you have a shilling that you can save, save and wait when this IPO goes and buy these shares. And you will live to remember my advice today, Honorable Speaker, because I have a colleague here who I advised to buy some shares of a bank a few months ago, and they told me, you are wasting your money. And now, as I smile all the way to the bank, they are always on my door asking me for, for something. Therefore, please, nobody should come asking anybody for anything. If you have money to save, save and invest in this IPO. This IPO will be the best welfare you can bequeath to your children and the people of Kenya. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support and ask all of you to indeed support this session of paper to allow us to be able to progress and move on and even be able to raise money for the budget process. The budget that we passed here that factored in these 100 billion shillings, and I project this money will be more than 100 billion. In my own estimation, I can foresee a figure of 150 to 200 billion. What better reward can we give to the Kenyan people than raise 150 to 200 billion for them over Christmas? Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to support.
Thank you, Majority Leader, for those very clear contributions. Honorable members, allow me to welcome a group of students who are on a visit of the House of Parliament. They are seated at the Speaker's Gallery. This is Metkei Girls High School from Keio, South Elgeyo Marakwet County. This is a group of 6 top performing students from that school and from that county. They are indeed welcome to the House of Parliament to observe the proceedings during their learning tour. The Honorable Benjamin Lagat